Imagine tuning into a live stream and witnessing what appears to be a terrifying seizure, only for the host to snap back as if nothing happened. This shocking moment is just the beginning of the twisted saga of Sarah Rawrr, also known as Sarah Undergrove. At 27 years old, this New York TikToker has mastered the art of deceit, fabricating dramatic health crises and outrageous personal tragedies to capture attention. Banned repeatedly from TikTok and relentlessly tracked by an entire subreddit, her scandalous exploits, ranging from faking seizures to staging emotional breakdowns, have left viewers stunned and outraged.
Do you wanna know what my biggest pet peeve is? When people use Reddit to talk about me. Guess what, people? Reddit's a dying trash app. Who's been here since day one? Who's been faithful as a nun? Makes you chuckle like all the time if I'm your executive protégé. That's true. My name is Sarah Rawrr. Don't talk trash about me on a stupid fucking app called Reddit. People who do that and screen record your live streams are trash. Listen up, everyone. I'm here for the long run. Don't fuck with me or I will turn on my beast mode. That's true. I got an evil side you don't want to see. It will destroy everything you're meant to be. Listen up. This is a warning, so fuck off.
But before we jump into all the crazy things this TikToker has done, and trust me, it only gets way worse, please drop a hello in the comments below. I'll reply to every comment, and it really helps out the algorithm. Faking seizures. Now, for a solid dose of how extreme she is, one of the worst things she got exposed for was faking seizures and pretending to have epilepsy for several months. However, the way she pulled it off was so obviously staged that many people caught on immediately and called her out. This all started during a live stream that seemed like any other, with her casually chatting with her followers, until, out of nowhere, she appeared to be shaking uncontrollably.
Not again. I have to go to the doctor's tomorrow. I think I had another seizure. Oh, my bones. My bones. I didn't mean to scare you. I've been having to go to the doctor's. I'm sitting. I'm fine.
Anyone tuning into that live stream likely froze for a second, perhaps even felt a bit worried, thinking, wait, is this one of those rare serious moments that just happened to be caught on camera? But before her viewers could even process it, her mom called her name, and just like that, she snapped out of it like nothing had happened. Seeing how it all unfolded so abruptly and unnaturally gave many people plenty of reasons to doubt her. The way she gets up so calmly, I've only had 2 seizures in my life, so I'm not really an expert on this, but from what I remember, when I woke up, I was very disoriented and confused and didn't know what happened. As I blacked out, this is kind of sus. LMAO. That kind of seizure doesn't just stop like that. I actually have had brain surgery and have focal seizures. She's a big yikes. Wow. But in Sarah's defense, she listed a bunch of health conditions that, interestingly, she had never mentioned before. There had been no signs, nothing, prior to this whole thing blowing up. She claimed to have Tourette's, said there was a benign mass pressing on her brain, and that she had been suffering from anxiety and depression. According to her, overstimulation was the primary trigger for her seizures. To make her story sound more believable, she also said she'd had brain surgery at one point. But by this time, people were already starting to get very skeptical because the information wasn't lining up, especially when some joined her live stream and backed her into a corner, forcing her to face the truth about the issue. One of the people in the conversation seemed to know quite a bit about neurological disorders and even shared some of their experiences with seizures, which made it difficult for Sarah to keep her story straight when asked direct questions. Yep, just the perfect way to put her so-called episode to the test right then and there.
I have had epilepsy for most of my life. It went away for whatever weird reason. I don't know. It's not supposed to do that. My mom had epilepsy. My birth mother and my sister had epilepsy. Both of them their whole lives. When I had a seizure, I would seize, so full-on shaking and things of that nature.
I know what it is.
I've never heard of you before. Like, I don't keep up with, I've never ever seen you before, a video I just saw. And it was you, and it was like obviously a recording of your live, and it was you, and the caption it said, oh, this person just faked a seizure. Because, like, you were like, it looked like you were like having like a tremor, like a thing, but then you were like super alert, and like, you were like, oh, I just had a seizure.
I am disabled. I literally am. I have 3 mental health issues. I have other issues as it is. Brain problems run in my family. And I had what they called a benign mass pushing on my part of the brain that stems with anxiety, depression. And when I was overstimulated by stupid people on the internet, stupid people in real life, stupid people at work, it happened. And then it took me like 3 doctors to figure out what was going on in my head. So I had to wait until they had an appointment for the surgery. So it was a benign mass pushing on a prefrontal lobe that had me having some kind of convulsions or seizures, as I like to put it, because I know what epilepsy is like. Because I dated a guy with epilepsy. I am still friends with that guy who has epilepsy. And it's not fun to have epileptic. And he knows, and he saw it on my lives, both here on TikTok and other social media platforms. He knew something was wrong with me, and he is the one who recommended me to go and take a doctor's appointment. And I'm not good at explaining myself, but you're not my doctor. You were not my family. You don't know what I went through. And again, nobody does. And I'm not good at explaining
myself. I know how seizures work. You know what I mean? Because like I've seen them and I've had them. And no offense like to your journey or anything, but you being friends with somebody who has epilepsy does not give you epilepsy.
No matter how valid that person's arguments were in the clip, it still felt like they were beating a dead horse because Sarah was too stubborn to admit she was wrong. To her, real medical knowledge meant nothing, and anytime she was confronted with proof that she was lying, she would immediately dismiss it, insisting that her situation was unique and that nobody had the right to accuse her of making anything up since they didn't know her medical history.
That was taken out of context because I thought that word meant something else, because everyone shortens abbreviation, and I'm a dyslexic person. I don't understand everything, so please, at the end of the day.
And the N-word, Mattel?
And yes, for most of the live stream, she kept repeating the same weak excuses without addressing the problems raised by her audience. But she did backpedal a little. While she was originally certain that she had a seizure, she later changed her narrative, saying that she only used that term because it was the easiest way to explain what she went through. Well, not only is she a terrible person, but she's also incredibly stupid. Eddie Munson obsession. But how did so many people already know about her by then? And why did she end up getting so much attention when plenty of others on the internet fake illnesses or rare disorders, yet no one really cares that much? Well, that's because since 2022, Sarah had been gaining traction for her intense fixation on Eddie Munson, a fictional character from Stranger Things, the hit Netflix series that premiered in 2016. The show is set in the 1980s and follows a group of kids who end up involved in a secret government experiment dealing with supernatural stuff. It became a huge hit pretty fast, and the cast built a big fan base. As the seasons went on, more characters were added, and by the 4th season, Joseph Quinn's character, Eddie Munson was introduced, and people absolutely loved him, but for Sarah, it turned into an unhealthy attachment.
Stop it. Stop it. Don't put it in your mouth. Do not put that in your mouth. Stop. Why do you like this? Why are you like this? Spit it out. Spit. Thank you.
The video that brought Sarah to a wider audience was this TikTok where she said, "War is over." In it, she was outside during the first snowfall of the year, but the timing of when she uploaded it didn't sit well with most because there were multiple ongoing wars in different countries, making her decision to make this a trend feel out of place and very insensitive. But of course, you wouldn't right away notice how much hate she was receiving because she had quickly limited the comments on her post. The caption she added didn't help either. It read, 6 months, 11 days, 86 hours, 30 minutes, 20 seconds since Eddie Munson left us, which most likely confused those who didn't have much context about the situation. But it was just Sarah being overdramatic about her character crush leaving the world after sacrificing himself to save his friends and the town from the Demobats in the Upside Down. As you can probably tell from those TikToks, Sarah's affection for Eddie Munson is far beyond the ordinary, as she's also made an entire series with over 40 parts, imagining a life with him, and some of it gets very lewd. So it's no wonder she's had a few TikTok accounts taken down. Sarah's love life. And because of all this, you'd never guess that Sarah was in a serious relationship, but she had actually been with her long-term boyfriend, Michael.
They say long distance never works, and I think that's stupid. Hearts pick people, not places, and it kills me that your place happens to be 1,627 miles away. But that has never meant I don't love you like you live next door. But it also doesn't mean it isn't hard. I have never missed someone so deeply who I haven't actually lost, and missing you is one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. Watching all of the other couples get to have the little things like goodbye kisses or falling asleep to the sound of your heartbeat instead of goodnight whispered through the phone, but it is all worth it the moment I run into your arms and I'm home again. It drives me crazy not being able to be there with you, but it would be worse to simply not be yours at all, so I will wait as long as it takes. I will fight as hard as you need. I will love you as much as I can, because state lines and 7-hour plane flights are a small price to pay for the forever I cannot wait to spend with you. So
we can have our obsessions! Like my boyfriend likes TT, Taylor Swift, so,
Still, despite that, it's obvious she's emotionally invested in someone who isn't even real, someone she discovered from a TV series. But it doesn't end there, guys, unfortunately, because Sarah's been known to flirt with literally anyone who shows even the slightest bit of interest, even on her live streams. There's also her friendship with a guy named Tim, which got her followers second guessing because they've seen her often staying over at his house in her videos. But things got more complicated when a female friend spoke up, claiming Sarah had cheated on Michael multiple times. This friend also shared how Sarah tried to get close to her boyfriend, which led to her being asked to leave. Sarah's reaction when she found out about Joseph and Doja Cat dating. So yeah, right now, it's crystal clear that Sarah's desperate need for affirmation is being fueled by either these made-up connections or guys who are already taken. But it's not just about fantasizing over one-sided relationships, because she also seems to have some sort of jealousy complex when things don't go her way. Let me give you guys an example. Her reaction when she found out Joseph Quinn, the actor who played Eddie, was dating American singer-rapper Doja Cat. Sarah claims her affection is for the character and not the actor, but when Joseph's relationship was revealed, she completely lost it.
Doja Cat was manifesting this for 2 years, maybe 3 years, and if it is so, I've lost respect for Joseph. I just have lost respect. So I'm sorry, I've lost respect for Joseph Quinn if he's dating Doja Cat, because just no. Just no, I can't. I mean, I'm more concerned, not as just a fan of him, but for his career, because Doja Cat herself has been a problematic, like a lot of most singers like herself, in the same kind of genre she does, has had a lot of problematic issues with the dating life, and I don't want Doja Cat fans to hate on Joseph Quinn if it doesn't work out. Because are you going to get rid of your picture of him? To be for real, I might. To be for real, I don't care if I spent $110 for these photos. I might have to get rid of them. Because I cannot, like, Joseph Quinn could date any other person, and I would be okay with it, but not Doja Cat. She started this, like, when I still had an account on Twitter, which I don't anymore, and, like, stalking him, basically, on, like, different platforms, and kept asking her agent to literally like hook up a meeting with them. And of course, even I have to find them. I think I have them saved on my phone, screenshots or videos of like Joseph on Saturday Night Live or other interviews, like saying, how do you feel about the Doja Cat like wanting to have you? And he's like the uncomfortable, he's like scratching the back of his head, like he has to say it. I'm kind of flattered, I guess, but I had to respectfully turn her down. I have to find that video. I just do. Sorry, Doja Cat's a problematic person. She's got daddy issues severely. She just does. That's the one thing. If you got severe daddy issues, no, just no.
In one of her live streams, she also ranted about how she senses their auras and believes Doja Cat isn't a good match for him. Yeah, okay, Sarah.
You know, they're grown men, they can do whatever they want. I just don't like seeing people in any situation, whether they're like me, in a relationship, or celebrity, getting their heart broken when you look up to them very wellly. That's all that matters to me. And I'm not trying to fight with anybody, and I'm trying to stay composed at the moment. But again, it's not fair that I... What the fuck you want? You're getting locked. You don't know a person's emotional status unless you're an empath, unless you can see aura. Which, I'm not saying I can see aura, but I can feel when a good relation happens and a bad relation happens. Even though I may be my own self when I was dating certain people in my own personal life, blinded by love. But in the end, I got hurt quite a bit by guys. And my empath abilities should have felt that more often than be stupid by love. So when I tell you that I may not know them, but I can feel it's not a good relationship. And that's not just because I like Joseph Quinn quite a bit and I went to go meet him twice at the same convention. But don't mess with my feelings. Don't mess with my emotions. Because it hurts.
It's honestly delusional for her to think she has any right to someone who's obviously not available and impossible to date. Even crazier, though, is how she's not only upset and venting about a few setbacks in her love life, but also offering unsolicited readings on other people's relationships based on her ability to feel energy, for which she believes Joseph isn't genuinely happy with his partner. Why Sarah can't stop talking about Eddie Munson moving on to another false claim, Sarah says her special bond with her fictional crush is tied to a close friend who passed away a few years ago, mentioning that Eddie's behavior mirrors that of the individual. The twist comes when someone did a reverse image search on the picture of that friend she shared and discovered it was just a stock photo. Now, let's talk about Sarah's big meeting with Joseph, where she spent over $100 to get a picture with him at a comic convention in Texas.
Can we skip to the good part?
You've arrived at your destination.
During the event, After Joseph signed her autograph, Sarah claimed she noticed how Joseph seemed irritated by everyone else, but not by her. So that was all it took for her to feel that there was something between them. And Joseph, playing the role of the knight in shining armor in Sarah's inner world, told her, "Be safe." So she took these 2 words and one brief interaction way too seriously and started acting as if they were long-lost soulmates.
But when he saw me get my inhaler out, and as my autographs, both a Funko Pop and a picture, was getting signed, he let me stay by one of his, security guards of the convention as I was shaking them too dry or blowing on them. And then he waved me goodbye and said, "Please be safe." He did say that. I don't talk about it that much because everyone refuses to believe I had a genuine encounter with this man. And I saw that some of the fans were quite annoying him. I felt a little annoyance with his aura, or whatever you want to call it, mood, impact. But with me, I was respectful, I was quiet, I was patient. He appreciates that. I gave him a nice gift. Something simple. Something not, related too much to Stranger Things. I got him a little bit of what he did in different roles. A little bit of everything. And I made him a jewelry box. I don't have a picture of it because I forgot to take a picture of it before I went to the convention. So.
Some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but it must be said.
More lies. Another of Sarah's stories involves a severe accident she had at 15 that put her in a coma and permanently stopped her brain from developing. Well, that sure explains a lot. Initially, she told her followers that it was a bus that hit her, but later it turned into a car. That's not just a small slip-up, is it? I mean, how do you even get that wrong? It's not like confusing the color of a shirt you wore years ago. We're talking about something that almost ended her life. And if this was really the near-death experience she claims it was, one that left her hospitalized for a long time, how could she not remember such a crucial detail? Maybe not every tiny part of the event, okay? But at the very least, she should know what actually altered her life, right? But things don't get any better, as fans ask her mum about it, who contradicts everything Sarah had said earlier, stating that she was never in a coma because, first of all, she wasn't even hit, she had only fainted, probably due to shock or panic from seeing a vehicle coming her way. And given the situation, you'd think everything would be settled by now. But her mum eventually changed her story to match Sarah's. As you see, she has this way of getting people to take her side, and manipulating those around her is effortless for Sarah. Chances are she either pressured her mom into it or kept insisting until she stopped objecting. Since getting Sarah to admit her mistakes is no walk in the park without causing a meltdown, maybe even her own family finds it easier to just give up and let her say whatever she wants. Sarah's repeated acts of taking others' work. Knowing Sarah, it's hardly surprising that she isn't content with just lying about so many things. She takes it even further with her nasty habit of taking credit for other people's work, and she has done this more times than anyone can count.
I remember everything that you forgot. That one I wrote a couple years ago. I just want to change to love you like you deserve to be. I promise there hasn't been a day that I stopped wanting you. I wrote it very close together back in the day, wanting you. And you haven't gotten out of my head at all since I first met you. Love her harder than her insecurities. Love her deeper than her deepest fears. And prove to her that love conquers all. You deserve someone who isn't confused and about feeling they and the feelings they have for you. All my better days are the ones spent with you. If it was about how revealing their clothes were, rates would quadruple during the summer. But they don't. If it was about how much hugs someone's had in the past, then wouldn't get, but they do. If it's about how attractive a person was by conventional standards, the only thin, white, able people would get, but they don't. If race is about how much they drank, then sober people wouldn't get, but they do. It is not victim's fault. Yeah, it's a bit dark.
While the picture of her friend that she presented a while ago was also stolen, that's minor compared to the Irish Eyes incident. Irish Eyes is a song originally written and performed by singer Rose Betts around 2023, but Sarah slightly tweaked the lyrics and tried to pass it off as her own.
My father says I have Irish eyes, Irish eyes, Irish eyes. My father says I have Irish eyes. They go ever so green on a bright spring sky, but they're never so green as when I let them cry. My mother says I have Puerto Rican hair, Puerto Rican hair. Brown like the bark of a palm somewhere, like the bed of the rocks where the sea meets, like a thorn in the stem of a Spanish flower. I'm a map of the world and the ones before, 1 foot in the sea and 1 on the shore, every step, every hope flung high. I'm a map of them all with my Irish eyes.
And when she got exposed, she didn't bother to come clean at all. In fact, she did what she always does. She doubled down by saying that she came up with the song herself and that it magically appeared in her dream while she was in the bathtub. Alright, just for the sake of argument, let's temporarily set common sense aside and entertain the idea that this really happened. But even then, that wouldn't help her case, because her main reasoning against the plagiarism accusations was that it's a different song just because she swapped out 1 word, changing mother to father. This, of course, made people understandably furious. But instead of owning up to it, she stayed unapologetic, turned off her comments section, and told everyone she was stepping away from social media, which, as expected, didn't even last an hour. Stopped a school shooting by dancing, but Sarah's not just picturing herself as a singer, she also thinks she's thriving in all aspects because apparently she's a true legend in her own head. She made a video claiming that she survived a school shooting in 2017 and, get this guys, saved everyone by pulling off a dance move she saw in a movie. And just when you think it couldn't get any weirder with her performing some choreography, this is where everything falls apart. Sarah actually attended a special needs high school and didn't graduate until she was 20. So this was just another thing to add to her ever-growing list of lies, because in the days after she posted this very unrealistic story, her former classmates started showing up in the comments saying that never happened. That they don't even remember anything remotely like that. And I mean, let's be real, if it had, she definitely would have made headlines for it, and international news would have treated it like the most unbelievable event in history. Using slurs. Once again, Sarah thought she could dance her way out of trouble after getting slammed for using offensive language. She asserted that she had every right to say the N-word because, according to her, she is close with a black friend who had given her permission. The thing is, Sarah doesn't care about any of this and is exactly the type of person who refuses to be corrected, calling anyone who points out how she's hurt or insulted others sensitive snowflakes. But when she faces any kind of backlash or criticism, she's quick to turn the tables and play the victim like she's the one being attacked. On the same note, she repeatedly used the T-slur, a harmful and offensive term directed at transgender people, in her videos and live streams after seeing it used to refer to a friend's transgender father, assuming it was acceptable.
There are only so many sorries you can give in a universe to your life, and then realize, like, saying sorry too much is the worst thing you can. I've always said the word I'm sorry, and I'm still saying I'm sorry, because at the end of the day, I don't really feel sorry for everybody. I just want to exist and live.
People are asking who you voted for.
That doesn't fucking matter anymore.
But on that though, wouldn't you go so far as to say other people don't have to like care about like you and hurting your feelings as well? And I'm seeing that you were saying slurs about transgender folks, and I don't think
okay, that was taken out of context because I thought that word meant something else, because everyone shortens abbreviation, and I'm a dyslexic person. I don't understand everything, so please, at the end of the day,
and the N-word.
What?
Sarah, why are you getting so defensive when I ask you questions in front of this random person, but you don't act like that when I read the comments in front of everybody else?
Because I don't know this person, and I feel like that they're these, like, at the end of the day, no offense to you.
You did publicly post about voting for Trump, though, didn't you?
It doesn't matter whether she understood the weight of the word or not, because as soon as she said it, everyone was outraged. And, as always, rather than taking responsibility, she responded in the worst way possible. In the end, it's clear this TikToker will never learn. Everything she's done, from faking seizures and staging heroic acts like stopping a school shooting to falsely claiming brain damage, is utterly reprehensible. She remains unrepentant, and as long as she continues to exploit people's trust and manipulate her narrative, nothing will change. If you thought faking seizures on TikTok was shocking, and trust me, it definitely was, you won't believe what's next. Imagine someone pretending to have dissociative identity disorder, faking over 300 separate personalities, and then getting exposed in a viral Google Doc. Yeah, it's exactly as crazy as it sounds. If you guys want to watch that unfold, click right here to check it out.